On my last Red Dead Redemption themed trip, while I was wandering the deserts of Arizona, I started to notice that my Red Dead satchel was kind of just not doing the job for me. It can be really difficult to get in and out of. I didn't orient the buckles very well, and it's just kind of a hassle. It doesn't have the carrying capacity I quite want. And I've got a trip coming up where I've got a friend joining me, and I'd really like him to be able to have his own Red Dead satchel for the video. So I decided it was time for me to make a new satchel. So I'll be making a Red Dead Redemption themed satchel from scratch. Before I get into the breakdown of how I made this satchel, I just want to say to all my subscribers, anybody watching this who's interested, thank you for watching first of all, but also I know this isn't full-fledged camping like some of my other videos, and I'm assuming that most of you are interested in seeing the camping stuff. Hang tight, I'm working on some videos. As this is coming out, I should be on a hike on a camp as this is releasing. So just be patient with me. Those videos are coming out more. I'm not able to put them out as often as I'd like. I can probably get 1 or 2 camps like that in a month, sometimes 3 if I'm lucky. So in the meantime, I will be posting videos more like this, just on how I'm making my gear and little breakdowns of some of my stuff. So, but again, I appreciate you guys tuning in, and hope you enjoy this video in the meantime. Alright, so let's get right into it then. You can see here I got all my pieces cut out. I kind of just shaped it based on the satchel I made before. It's just kind of a simple purse shape design, so nothing too crazy. Okay, so I got this long piece of leather here, and I'm gonna measure the edge of the bottom of my satchel so that I can determine how long I need this middle piece to be. This middle piece is gonna go between the front piece and the back piece. The leather I'm using here is gonna be a 4 to 5 ounce veg tan leather. Okay, so here I'm just gonna pin these 2 pieces together. This is the front and the back piece, and I'm just cleaning it up, just taking a knife to the edge, making it a little bit more flush. While I still have these 2 pieces put together, I'm gonna put them up on my punch board, and I'm gonna punch some holes in them. I'm just punching holes all along the outer rim of it, on the bottom of it. It's kind of tough going because that front piece is a little thick. This piece is a little bit more of a 5 to 7 ounce piece of veg tan leather. Alright, you can kind of see it turning into what it's going to be, kind of getting the shape of it. Alright, so I'm going to take that center piece now, and I'm going to do the same thing I did to the other 2 pieces, and I'm just going to punch holes all along the rim of it. I'm also punching these little squares into the side piece, that way I can attach my straps to it. You see all my pieces are punched out. Now it's time to make the straps. So I'm taking this long piece of leather. I've cut out 1 strap. It's about a rough size of what I think will work. And I'm putting it on the other piece of leather and gonna make an identical piece with it. I'm just using an edge beveler to clean up the edges a little bit and round them off a little. Now we're going to take some neat's foot oil, and we're going to oil up the leather. Leather dyes typically dry out your leather, so neat's foot oil helps it stay moisturized, and it prevents cracking and damage. Here's all my pieces. They've all been oiled. They're all ready to get dyed. I'm going to be using a dark brown color. It takes a little bit to get it to the right consistency. You can kind of see the brush strokes for a little bit, so you want to lay it on pretty thick and put a couple layers. That way you get this nice dark brown color. I'm going to be using a red colored thread. You won't be able to see the thread. I'm going to turn this inside out and it won't even be visible. I just have a lot of this thread, so I want to use it up. So I'm going to go ahead and stitch the front portion to the middle piece here. and then we're gonna stitch the back piece to the middle piece and complete it off. Real quick, I'll show you how I finish off my thread. I'll take a lighter and I'll burn the thread, then I'll take something metal and I'll push down on it for about 10 seconds to press it. It's almost similar to sealing a letter with a wax seal. Our next step is going to be to actually turn the bag over. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this water bottle, this is a mister bottle, and we're going to spray it all over the bag, get it really well saturated. Getting the bag wet is going to make the leather really pliable and soft, and it's going to be able to turn over. We're going to let it just sit and soak for just a little bit. Alright, now we're going to try and turn it over. If you don't know what that means, basically I'm just going to turn it inside out. Just a leather term for it. But it's really rough. It's really hard to do sometimes. Kind of ends up looking like you're about to rip your bag in half or your project in half. Even with the leather nice and wet and nice and pliable, it's still really tough, so you have to be pretty rough with it sometimes to get it through. At least I've found. I do want to take a quick moment while I'm doing this to just let you guys know about my Etsy. The link is in the description down below. I make more leather goods just like this. I make bookmarks, I make wallets. There's even some of the hats that I'm wearing in this video for sale on my Etsy. If you buy anything from my Etsy, it goes right back into the channel. I use it for more gear and more leather. I appreciate you listening to my quick plug. Would love it if you take a quick look at my Etsy. If not, appreciate you watching the video anyway. Thanks again. Alright, now we got the bag turned over. It's looking pretty good. You can see my hands have a little bit of dye on them. That's just the dye bleeding off. Pretty much what that means is I didn't wipe it down well enough after I got dyeing. So I'm gonna take a little bit of a rag to it and just kind of wipe off the excess. Now we're gonna take some tokonol and we're gonna burnish some of these edges. Basically what you do to burnish is you add tokonol to the leather. Typically you'll add it to a flesh or an edge side. Then you'll take some type of wooden tool. Usually you'd use a burnisher, but I can't find mine. So I'm just gonna use this edge beveler. And then you just rub it back and forth. The friction will create heat. As the tokonol warms up, it'll start to create a layer, a patina. Here's the difference between a burnished piece and an unburnished piece. The tokonol will make a finish on your leather that will pretty much make it waterproof and just keep it away from the elements. Alright, now we're going to use this gold colored thread to attach the straps to the bag here. I like this color. It's got a nice kind of western feel to it for me. I didn't want to keep using the red. I didn't think it really matched the vibe, in my opinion. Okay, so now we're going to cut out one more strap to attach to the other two straps. And I'm definitely doing this for cosmetic purposes and absolutely not because I forgot to measure the straps and now the bag doesn't fit me. Definitely not. No, but for real, I gotta fix this. So I'm pretty much just gonna make a centerpiece with two buckles on each end to connect the two straps together. I need to cut these two pieces. They're gonna be the loops that will keep the straps down once they've gone through the buckle. I'm gonna go ahead and oil these pieces. I'm gonna dye them. I'm gonna punch some holes through them, and then I'm gonna stitch them real quick, and I'm just turning them into two quick little leather loops. Okay, now I'm gonna put a hole so that the buckle can go through. I like to use this skiving knife. It allows me to put pressure downward real easily. And all I do is I push down in the shape of a V, and it'll cut out this V-shaped hole in the side of the leather. When I open it up, it'll be a diamond-shaped hole, and it just lets the little piece of the buckle come through. Now I'm switching over to a different colored thread. I ran out of that other gold. This is a slightly lighter gold, but it'll still look good. I think it'll work out just fine. Okay, so I'm gonna take my loop, I'm gonna run it through over the buckle, and then I'm gonna slip it inside of this, and we're gonna stitch that shut. So here I've got two rows of holes in this piece of leather. The first row is to fasten the buckle to the actual end of the belt. And And the second row is to fasten the loop in between the buckle and the rest of the belt. That way it doesn't move at all. We're gonna burn off our threads and we're gonna press them again just to keep them nice and clean. I typically like to keep my burnt threads on the same side, and I usually like them on the inside of the project, wherever it will be less likely to be seen. But that's okay, this'll work fine. So here we go, we got this strip of leather with 2 buckles on it. We're gonna use it to connect the 2 straps together. So I'm gonna just round off this strap. I'm gonna end up edge beveling it, and then I'm just gonna dye it again to clean it up and make it look nice. I'm kind of just testing out the straps to see where they'll go in the buckle and just about roughly where it'll sit on me. Okay, now that I have a pretty good idea where I want the holes to be, I'm gonna start punching them in. I'll use a tape measure to make sure my holes are all an equal distance. That way it looks nice and clean. Alright, here we go. Here's the bag. Got it all finished up. Everything's strapped together. Looking pretty good so far, but I got one more step I want to do. So we're going to take that bottle we used again earlier, and we're going to put some rubbing alcohol inside of it. We're going to spray this rubbing alcohol all over the leather, and we're going to use it to give the leather a weathered look. Basically, we're just going to spray the leather all over with it. It'll soak in and it'll dry the leather out, which will leave it more susceptible to cracks and creases. We don't want to spray too much on, we just want to spray enough that it'll soak in, but we don't want to soak the entire bag. Once the leather has absorbed the rubbing alcohol and it's looking ready to go, we're going to just get really rough with this thing. We're going to squeeze it, we're going to pull on it, we're going to just rough it up a bunch. Basically, this will just put a bunch of creases, dents, little grooves into it. You want to be sure not to completely ruin the shape of the bag, but you got to be pretty rough to give it a good weathered look. Putting a little bit more alcohol on the bottom, and we're going to take a wire brush to it. I think the bottom is the spot that would end up getting a little bit more wear and tear from just rubbing up against things, being put on the ground, stuff like that. So we're gonna make it a little bit more weathered here. All right, look at this, guys. Nice weathered looking bag here. I think it's looking pretty good. Nice brown color, got some good weathering effect to it. I am going to apply some leather conditioner, which might ruin some of the weathering we just did, but basically it kind of heals up the skin of the bag and it prevents it from really becoming damaged. We kind of just want it to look weathered, not actually be damaged. And I think we did a pretty good job on it. Even after the conditioner, it's still looking pretty weathered. It doesn't look as rough, but I think as it dries out a little bit more, you'll start to see some of those scratches in the weathering again. Not to mention it'll get weathered naturally as I take it on trips with me. So yeah, guys, thanks again for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you're looking forward to all the trips I've got coming out in the future. I do have a lot of really fun stuff planned. So if you enjoyed the video, please give the video a like. Don't forget to subscribe so you can see my future videos coming out. It's going to be fun. We got more trips coming up. I got more video games to do, and I'm even going to get into some movies and TV shows at some point soon. If you're new and you haven't seen any of my videos, one of my playlists will pop up in just a moment. Feel free to click on that and check them all out. Thanks again for watching. You all have a good one.